It just didn't seem to be working. My last attempt at normalcy was right before and after the 2008 and 10 financial crisis. I just felt like I had been struggling my entire adult life for the ultimate goal of the American dream, homeownership, all that, and it was never actually going to happen. I'm Kitty. This is Christian.
Hi.
You're not.
I am Christian.
Just double checking. The big question, why did we leave society? I just don't like being tacked down, and I've got a lot of world to see out there, and if I'm 9 to 5 in it with my crap bag apartment, really hard
to work at McDonald's. You know,
Yeah.
be satisfied with that.
Yeah. Well, hard to see the world was where I was going with that. But yeah, it's not for me. It never was. The worst thing my family ever did was let me leave Texas. And then, why would I stay in Texas? So, you know, they let me go out to the coast of California when I was 13. I made my first trip out to LA and realized that there was a lot more world to small town nowhere, Texas.
But you still love Texas.
I love you, Texas. I don't want to live there. Sorry, hard pass. I'd rather see the world. Are there bad days? Yeah, but do I think it's worth it? Definitely. The other life, they all seem like bad days. It just seemed like endless, miserable tedium and baloney. Where, like, what do? I go to some job I hate, to come home to some apartment I paid too much money for, to do some other shit I don't want to do, and I saw my kid for like 15 minutes after school. Now I gotta like get on her about homework, housework, blah, 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 blah. My neighbors are loud, the whole thing. Not for me. I'm out. I'd much rather just drive to the woods and enjoy all this and not have to do that ever again. Was I happier the other way? And the answer is no. I was really unhappy. And I guarantee you, whoever sees this, some of them aren't happy with that life either. And that nagging question in the back of your head, why do I do this? What am I getting up in the morning for? Why do I go to this job I hate? Why do I keep paying rent on this apartment? The answer is you don't have to. You don't have to. There are other choices. There's another way.
I don't know. I think it might just be harder. It's more challenging. I think it's harder than regular life. Regular life was pretty much predictable. You know, get a decent job, do a good job. They like you. They'll give you all the hours you want. So, you know, pay rent. If you don't if you do your math and you're like, oh, this job pays me this much and rents this much, I'll be okay, you know. It's pretty nice, and the next thing you know, you're old and you've been doing it for years.
That sounds terrible. That sounds terrible.
Terrible. It's just killing time.
Are you happy out here?
Yeah, I'm happy out here. I like all the plants.
Did you like your apartment in Marina?
Hell no.
I mean, I like my apartment in Monterey. I could recognize that it was a very comfortable living. I did a good job at my job. They liked me. Everyone liked me. I was taking care of my bills, and I was absolutely sure if I just kept doing it, years would go by and it would be just as pleasant as it was the day I started. I was working at my job on Fisherman's Wharf in Monterey, and my boss asked me what hours I wanted. And you know, usually they just wrote the schedule, and I didn't really care because, I mean, I was living a pretty easygoing life. I didn't have no other schedule demands. So they just, you know, they always wrote the schedule, and I just looked at it and worked those days. I never questioned or had any problem with it. And she asked me what days I wanted to work, and like, it just, like, I was just like, you know, it was nice that she asked me that responsibility, but I was like, what days do I want to work? I was like, you know what, just take me out the schedule. Cause like, I don't know, it just was like, that's my big responsibility thrill, picking which days I get to go to work. I was just like, no. I don't know, something about that question. Threw all my crap in the dumpster and packed a bag, and went hitchhiking. I was thinking about it like, I don't know, Grapes of Wrath or Cannery Row or something. I was like, I need to try to find something difficult. I need a challenge in life, because just being alive and filling a schedule wasn't it.
During my stint back home in lovely Texas, I was dropping Lily off at school, and I was standing in line, and I was standing behind some people I had grown up with, that they now had kids, and a teacher that he used to be the soccer coach, and he had a kid in Lily's grade, and I heard people talking. And there were 3 women, and they had asked each other, what's the furthest you've ever been from Belton, Texas? And one of them said, I went to Austin once, but I didn't like it much. And the other one said, well, you know, one time I went over to Temple, which is the next town and it touches us. And the other one said, well, I ain't never been past the Trinity River, which is the edge of a small town that we live in. And it horrified me that this could be her future, that she might not ever leave Belton, Texas ever again. And the thought just curdled my blood, and I just couldn't live with myself if that's the future I offered her, and so I had to get out of there.
People are gonna continue to be homeless. Or at least, you know, that's what the word is on paperwork. But there's always a group of people, like a small amount of people, that just decide that they like to be outdoors. There are people who just enjoy not living in the same box. I can't be happy and do that. And I know I'm not the only person who feels that way. And I know that a lot of people, especially right now economically, are discovering homelessness for the first time. And it's kind of nice to feel as though I've had enough practice with all this that I that I can go through it like a boss, and that they're having a hard time, and I feel bad for them, but they'll learn it in time. And I think some of those people will enjoy it and find things they like about it and probably stick with it and join the ranks of the crusty kids out there. Or, you know, they'll decide that they had a good time and figure out a way to not do it. I mean, right now it's fashionably fabulous for lots of young people in their 20s to go do the van life thing for like 6 months. And I don't feel as though they are getting exactly the same perspective that I'm really talking about, because these are things that you have to live the lifetime to know. It's like, you can't say you're a dog person unless you've had a dog for its whole lifetime and known all of the growth and development of it. And any life is not something that you can just pick up for a weekend or a summer and really understand. But I'm glad that there's young people out there who are trying it, because some of them like it and will keep it. There's something to it. It's a feeling you can't really place. It's like when you're out there traveling or on the road and such, you don't really know what's coming. I mean, there's the standard fears, weirdos and cops and all those other horrible things, bugs and, you know, parasitic things that might harm you, but
Cops.
cops. But there's that uncertainty. It's the not knowing. I mean, if I just told her what days I should have gone to work for my schedule for the next week, I'd have known exactly where I'd have been at those times, because I'd have been at work. I'd have showed up, now here I am, I'm here at work. And so there was that uncertainty of knowing that I'm going to something and I don't know what, but I'm gonna get there, and we'll cross that bridge when I get there. You never know what might happen. You meet I really liked meeting people. I loved meeting people when I was traveling, and I still intend to travel. I still do travel. Heck, I think I'm about to be going to Utah and back here soon. So I just like meeting people. I like seeing that people are different. They all have their own way to be. They all have their own style. They're not all the same, and every state's different, state to state, person to person. Like, there's similarities, and you can kind of see the blending similarities between them. It's like when you're looking at a fire, it's not just red or orange, it's all the colors, and they just blend evenly between each other, but they somehow are still related to each other because they're next to each other. So I like that, and seeing that when I travel. Selling jewelry was always a good excuse for meeting people. Because otherwise, I don't know if I'd really have anything to talk to him about for the most part.
I'm sure he could think of something.
If I didn't sell rocks or jewelry, or
He'd still be talking to people.
Yeah, I don't know what I'd talk about.
It doesn't matter. Amway, pyramid schemes, vitamins. The filler, he'd be a filler brush salesman. I don't know. He'd find something.
Well, Hollywood, I guess that means I'm a good talker.
Hollywood?
Y'all could hire me.
What the fuck?
Yeah, you know, that's a shout out, man. Gotta put it out there.
Santa Ana, whoop whoop. Marina. That's who's gonna see
You're just
this.
talking mad smack.
I'm not. I'm being
You don't know how awesome Marina is.